Kia ora. Tuatahi tēnei te mihi atu rā ki te Māori kei roto I tō tātou whare I tēnei wā. A o tira e mihi atu ana rā kia tātou katoa, ki tō tātou minita nānei hakatua I te arawhata hei pīrurutanga mō tātou, ki tō tātou kaihanga, tēnei te tū tautoko atu. O tira me te tautoko katoa ki eno o tātou ko whetūrangitia, ko rātou kia rātou haere, 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 ko tātou enei ngā kanuhi ora, ngā mahuetanga kia tātou. Tēnā koutou o tira, kia ora tātou katoa. Ko kaipara te moana, ko hoti o te awa, ko maunga atua te maunga, ko Ngāti hine te hapu, ko Ngāti whātua te iwi, a tēnei te mihi atu rā kia koutou. Ko ia tērā ko te wahanga pā ki taku māma. The part to do with my father, well, my grandfather came from a place in Croatia, behind the Biokovo Ranges called Kotsica. And my grandmother came from the coast of Croatia, from a place called Divranik. And so there are one side of me, box head to the max, and the other side, tūturu Māori and mara. And I must tell the story about my father. I was born in the front seat of my father's Studebaker car. Well, you know how long ago that is. There ain't no Studebakers on the road anymore. And I said to my father one day, I suppose I was conceived in the back seat of it. And he went, hee, 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 hee. Well, he's 99 today. And he'll be 100 next year. I still wouldn't trust a woman near him. But that's the Croatian side, reserved only for the Croatian men. I want to say thank you to the Chief Commissioner, Carl, to you and your team for making this happen. And I am a fundamentalist mokopuna. The thing that worries me about that, of course, is the word mental that's in there. My mokopuna, I have 19 mokopuna, 13 grandsons and 6 granddaughters. I have, by the end of this year, of course, I'll have 8 greats. Presently, I have 4 great-grandsons and 1 queen bee named Hine Amaru. And they think, you know, I tell them, you know, you're the centre of my universe, the whole lot of you. Just remember, you're the centre, you're not the whole bloody universe. I've got a life. I do have a life. Kia ora tātou, my name is Rangi Maria Naida Glavich, and you can call me Naida. I guess I want to start by saying the world is on a cusp. Whatever your spiritual beliefs, doctrine, or philosophy, we are experiencing changes of such magnitude that we are deeply uncertain whether humanity has the capacity to cope. The economic pillars of Western civilization are crumbling. Financial institutions, media institutions, political institutions. Natural disasters are occurring at a rate that has us spinning. The internet has totally redefined the way we communicate and the way we do business. Our communities and our revolutions are increasingly, the internet, start again, Naida. Please bear with me, I'm suffering amnesia up here. Our communities and our revolutions are increasingly occurring in cyberspace. And you know, I wonder about that. I was raised by a grandmother. When I was born in the front seat of that car, she arrived, wrapped up the whenua first, took the whenua, went back home, buried the whenua, then came and wrapped up the baby, and I'm glad it didn't bury it with the whenua. And you need to wonder, what would they say? What would they say? I remember my grandmother watching the first time black and white TV came, and she was watching this film called Diver Dan, a kids program. And the next thing I hear her going, "Hey, ste mori karika hoki." And so I come in to see what's the matter. And there was this huge barracuda with a pipe hanging out of its mouth, talking to a tuna, of which was her favourite meal, the tuna. And she goes, "Te mori karika hoki," never ate an eel again after that day. So you have to wonder, you know, this queer that raised me to understand the pull of the Kaipara Harbour, to understand that the Kaipara Harbour is a food table. It's not a playground, it is a food table, and that we need to listen to the cry of the birds, that the riro is actually telling us, go and cut your korari and make your kete because harvest time is coming, and to read the bush, like when the kowhai is in full bloom, the kai under the sea that has a yellow roe is ready. And understanding of nature in its process of rahui, and all that knowledge of there, and today we're occurring in cyberspace. The top 10 jobs in 2010 didn't exist in 2004. The amount of new technology information is doubling every 2 years. For a student beginning a 4-year degree of course of study today, this means that half what they learn will be out of date in their 3rd year. We currently prepare students for jobs that do not exist, using technologies that have not yet been invented to solve problems that we do not know yet what the problems are. There have been magnificent gains in the past 200 years in technology and in the industry, but they were underpinned by a deeply flawed methodology called colonization. It doesn't take an academic to work out that the devastation societies and environments across the world is a result of colonization. But Western society as we know it is on the way out. As a flawed model, it has been effective for a very few, for a comparatively short time in human history. Several hundred years is a blip when we compare it to our own ancient culture as Māori, or that of Indigenous people of Australia or America. I believe the world is desperate for new models as Western ones fail. While the first world has developed a plethora of toys and smart intellects, it has left behind some essential elements of being a human being. The human hinengaro is swollen out of proportion, to the detriment often of the tinana and most importantly the wairua. We have been waiting a long time for a piece of work such as that which we celebrate today. Our success stories as Māori go largely untold in the mainstream world. As Mark Twain said, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics. We get a very jaundiced view portrayed in the mainstream of our people. But the time has come for us to take up an opportunity to demonstrate the brilliance, the beauty, and the bounty our culture can offer the world. For those of us blessed to be brought up immersed in our tikanga, we adhere without pause, without question, to the concepts of manaakitanga and whanaungatanga. For they have never been and never will be simply words. They are deep, whole, and mainly layered ways of being. They are always about the whole and not the individual, except, of course, the individual within the collective. They are about sacred connections and a sacred order that align with the laws, L-A-W, and the law, L-O-R-E, of the universe. Reverend Māori Marsden told of a returning from the Second World War when Kaumātua at his wānanga said to him, "Oh, we see that tauiwi have learnt to rip the fabric of the universe." They referred, of course, to Hiroshima. Their knowledge and their understanding of nuclear physics far outweighed the narrow understanding held by Western science. And so today, as the world is in a state of wholesome reinvention, the beautiful models our culture offers can provide a framework for the world. As Māori, we are so deeply connected to each other and to our planet, it is one. I am the kaipara, and the kaipara is me. We talk about whenua as land that nurtures us, and we talk about whenua that nurtures a fetus. Is that not an exceptionally beautiful way to live? And a beautiful way to view the world and humanity? The Western world has been playing around for a few years now with the concept of sustainability, of models that consider economic, social, and environmental development as one. Well, hello. What a no-brainer that is for us. For thousands of years, we have integrated thinking and being around mana, manaakitanga, and kaitiakitanga. It is a natural system. It is a nature and our own nature as people that nurtures us. Isaac Newton said, "If I have been seen to see further, it is because I stand on the shoulders of giants." And the first giant in my life was my grandmother. Whatever I say today is to honour my tupuna, my iwi, my hapu, my whānau. It is an honour to the best mokopuna in the world. They never do nothing wrong, my mokopuna. Those before and those yet to come are my first consideration. I was told by a principal when I was in the third form at a particular high school it was then. I'm not quite sure how you qualified to be in the 3A class, Naida Glavich. What languages would you like to consider? I said, well, reo Māori. But there is no reo Māori. Would you be interested in French? Why the hell would I want to learn French? Well, how about Latin? Well, where's Latin? Well, neither of those look like me. And so he looked back at me and he said, "You will never get anywhere in this world, girl, I'm telling you now. If you think that you're going to rely on your language and your Maori culture, you'll get nowhere in this world. So I was expelled from one school and suspended from 2 as a result of standing up for myself. So when my mokopuna do things, they are not naughty, they're standing up for themselves. They have a brilliant teacher. I went back to the 75th anniversary of that school to meet up with the principal. You know, just to say, oh, I thought you'd like to know I'm Chief Advisor Tikanga to the largest district health board in the country. And, well, that's very good, Miss Glavich, that's very good. Anyhow, time moves on. We all make a part of a whole. A whānau, by definition, is always the past, the present, and the future, and we as Māori do not separate these out in time linear fashion. They are one. To be one requires integrity, to be whole. For the individual requires something far more than themselves and their own needs. In generations past, it was clear that our parents or elders would lay down their lives on our behalf. And some did. Today it is interesting to lay down this wero. Who would you die for? How far? Or through what degree of adverse circumstances would you stand by your whānau, your colleagues, your friends? Do they see or hear your commitment to that level? How far are you prepared to put them ahead of yourself? And in your profession and pastimes, how far will you go for another? I get a sense that our society today needs to ponder deeply how much it cares for others ahead of the individual or the self. To see lasting change for the better will require a mindset shift. Which reminds me of this prophet who hails from the shores of the Kaipara Harbour, of course, and his name is Albert Einstein, who said no problem will ever be solved in the same consciousness that created it. So what is happening today is a creation of a shift in consciousness. I believe our beautiful tikanga offer a clear path for this change to this mindset. Manaki, mana, whanaungatanga, kaitiakitanga. We have done so much for so long with so little. We're now highly qualified to do anything with nothing. And I want to quote the prophet Cahill Gilbrain. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go forth swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. And I'm reminded with that of our kaumātua Sir James Henare, who said, tawhiti rawa tō tātou haerenga te kore haere tonu, maha rawa o tātou mahi te kore mahi tonu. We have come too far to not go further. We have done too much to not do more. And for me, if I wish to be in the memory of my mokopuna tomorrow, then I must be in their lives today. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, kia ora hui rā koutou.